I wanted to show this to you guys. This was sent to me by a normal man, short in 40, the other day. This post I had has a million views over on X, and it's where a psychologist explains the difference between 90s kids and Gen Z kids in terms of video games. And I think this is absolutely fascinating. And we're going to see some of the responses. But let's go and play this first and see if you guys agree with this.
A psychologist explained why 90s kids think differently than Gen Z. The games you played as a kid literally rewired your brain. Here's what changed. Okay. He said children in the 90s played games that force the brain to fail and try again. Mario, Sonic, Prince of Persia, you had 3 lives, no saves, no hints. When you lost, you learned patience, planning, and frustration tolerance. Today, many games guide kids step by step.
Cheat codes.
Auto save every 10 seconds and remove real challenge. Tetris, Doom, Quake, Zelda, you had no map, no path arrows. You remembered layouts, patterns, secrets. Scientists now show that these games strengthen the hippocampus, the part of the brain for memory and navigation. Modern games often give glowing lines, GPS arrows, voice assistance. Kids follow instruction instead of figuring out. A psychologist explained why 90s kids think differently than...
All right, sorry about that. Okay, so general thoughts on that. The idea that games didn't throw you a bone back in the day versus today where you get a save every 5 minutes. Eric, Cecil, I'd love to hear your thoughts first.
Well, yeah, still just playing the old games on like the Switch, you still have the rewind feature now. So when I have my daughters play the old games, I have them play them on the original console. So they want to play Sonic, they got to start over every time they drown on that water level.
They got to earn it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cecil?
The sense of accomplishment is better.
Oh, yeah. I kind of, in a similar way, I had done that. I bought the Sega Genesis collection for the Switch and the Genesis Mini because my son really liked Sonic. And I was like, you got to beat it. You got 3 lives, make it happen. I did it. You can do it. And I'm not going to throw Ninja Gaiden at him because, that's... But a lot of those games, they're tough. But again, you get the thrill and the feeling of accomplishment that you figured it out and you beat it. There was a game recently I want to talk about. I just beat it a couple weeks ago. A fantastic game just came out last year, got no attention, and it absolutely should have. Called Hell Is Us. Their big selling point was, I'm going to read their: no map, no compass, no quest markers. Following your instincts is part of the adventure. Enjoy a unique experience that uses innovative writing and level design to let you make your own decisions and follow your instincts as you explore. Your discoveries are yours alone. It was a throwback to that old school kind of, hey, here's the game. We're going to give you ideas on what to do, but you have to figure shit out. It is a fantastic story too, all about like war, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's a shame it should be a better known game because a lot of people that have been complaining that games are are too easy. This game is not easy, but it's fair. Like whenever you fail, it's like, yeah, I got greedy there, or that was my fault. Legitimately awesome game.
I think one of the things that you see in response to this is, well, yeah, but Bloodborne, yeah, but Dark Souls, yeah, but this individual game, right? And yes, there are exceptions that are that kind of old school difficulty that you have to go and you have to really work through like an old school game. Obviously, they're made different now. Like an old school game, it was still novel to buy a video game. Now games are, you have an entire catalog of games on your Steam library that 50% of them, a lot of people have never played before. They get them on a Steam sale and they're just a product that they buy. Whereas when you bought a game in the 80s or 90s, you were invested in that game immediately. And I feel like and you would see part of the dying was part of the experience and getting better and improving. It's funny because I started playing Mega Man 11 again. And I started playing that with my 13-year-old. I started playing, and she goes, "What are you playing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm playing this game called Mega Man. It's super fun." And it was the newest one. And I was not super impressed with Mega Man 11 the first time I played through. And I've enjoyed it now. And I think that has to do with the company that I'm playing with. Obviously, playing with my daughter is really fun. And to see her, it's not an easy game. The levels are fairly long. You get three. It's just like a classic Mega Man game. You get 3 lives to start. Now you can buy more lives in the shop and things like that. But to see her struggle through a single level, I think it's called, the guy's name is like Concrete Man. It's the first guy you're supposed to beat. And she played the game for like 4 or 5 days, probably an hour a day, just on that level, trying to beat that level. She doesn't have like old school gaming ability. She doesn't, she's never played through the other Mega Man games. She had no idea, but she learned it and she was driven to do it. So it became a goal for her. I'm going to do this because I will not let the game beat me. And there were several times where she beat herself in the game. And it was like, you could see her like, when you die in a game and you just kind of laugh and you go, "Fucking, you got me, game. You got me." And
Craig,
that was...
do you realize that hearing the Shams alert after sending my donation almost gave me a heart attack? Did I add 1 0 too many? I do have expendable income, but not Shams level money. Oh, and happy birthday, Phoenix.
Thank you.
That's from Dead Pixel. Thank you very much for your expendable income. That's another $50 from Dead Pixel going back on the wall, and we appreciate that, Dead Pixel. The alert from Shamsa from anything 100 over, you get crazy Ernie. It's meant to be jarring. It's meant to be jarring, and it's outstanding. Thank you very much again, Dead Pixel. We'll get you back on the wall. But yeah, it was great to see her kind of put her head down and try to just know that she has to beat it. And by the way, that's 1 level of 8 that she's going to have to figure that out. So to go back to the original post of how games are made today, there is something to the idea of constant save points. And it's not, the Dark Souls are the exception. They're not the rule in this. So Phoenix, Blabs, I would actually love to hear your thoughts on this.
Well, so I agree with everybody. I mean, I will say though, it's not, it's like part of it is game design, but also is just circumstance. So like games back in the 80s and 90s, we were just the evolution of gaming. We were coming off of arcades, which is the idea of a quarter gets you to keep playing the game. And those were designed to make you keep spending that money. Then you bring it home. It's like, well, okay, this game length is relatively short for 50 or 60 bucks that you're going to spend. So we have to make it criminally difficult for you to beat it because you need to get value out of that. Then you add to that, then you had Blockbuster and rentals and things like that. So they had to even add even more frustration and difficulty so that you would actually rent it again, or more importantly, buy the game yourself. So nowadays, when you have games that going in the 16 to 50 hour plus, your all your game design is very, very different. So you're going to start needing saves. Back in the day, we didn't really have saves because the technology and the cost wasn't there to do so. So games nowadays naturally are going to be saving, and the worlds are much bigger. So you're probably going to have a map and things like that. But I do agree that the games back then definitely we're much more. We're going to sharpen your brain, your wits, and you're going to teach you how to get good and to shut up and just keep trying until you get that victory. And you always felt really good once you achieved it. But again, I will also add that part of this is actual just limitations of the content that we had back then and the expansion of game design nowadays that kind of has some of that to play.
Well, I mean, we do have this entire series called Blabs Versus, with the idea of Blabs playing these games that are, old school, difficult, hard. And we've seen you progress, Blabs. Now, there's some games that we've learned that you just don't have any interest in, right? But you have gotten better at games. And it seems like when you do have some sort of accomplishment, you do, we can see it in you. Which is exciting. Now, it doesn't happen very often on the series, but
No.
But when you do accomplish something, it's great. And people have pointed out, well, there was the Contra code and the Konami code, the 30 Lives code in Contra, and you went out and you bought books with secret codes, and you had the Game Genie, and you had the Nintendo Power line and stuff, right? But once again, those were the exceptions to things. It wasn't a part of the game. Obviously, the Konami code was part of the game, but it wasn't like, hey, here's 30 lives. It was like a secret that was built into it that you wasn't advertised at all. You didn't get a save point, in Contra multiple times throughout each level. I don't even know if there were any save points on Contra. Like once you got to a continue, I believe you had to start over at the beginning of the level.
Yes.
So this person puts a nice little pin on this. Says, I miss Sierra games that shit on you and called you stupid when you died.
Yeah, I actually like that. So when I was playing on like on PlayStation 1, there was always those games of like, you failed and you died and things like that. And I kind of like that. You don't see it as much anymore, where it leaves you the message saying, you died.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say Sierra games were extremely unfair, though. Like, fuck that game design. LucasArts had it better. Sierra was crap, and that it'd be like those old point-and-click adventure games where if you didn't get the Snickers bar on the first frame of the game,
right,
and you got all the way to the fucking end, it turned out you need to hand that to the troll or whatever. Well, fuck you. That's shit design.
There was little things like in Earthworm Jim. At the very beginning of the game, if you don't knock the cow into the sky, like at the very end of the game when you're fighting, like it has an impact at the end of the game. There's all these dumb little things. Yeah, I'm with you on that. That wasn't very fair at all. But I think it does speak to the idea that games they're just made different for a different generation, and it is what it is at this point. It is what it is. And they're not going to change back. There will always be exceptions. There will always be a super hard mode, a nightmare mode in Doom or something like that. But for the most part, the default setting is not super hard. The default setting is just get through it. Your 50 to 60 hours in a video game isn't about conquering the game. It's about playing through the game, if that makes sense. So. Are you tired of all the nonsense? Yeah, you are. Hit the subscribe button right here and join us.